Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 11.
This abuse in some way, in some form, has been going on for the past 15 years.
Family members arrested, charged with terrible crimes against the children in their own family. Investigators in Washington County say these two brothers and one of their ex-wives have been sexually abusing children for at least 15 years. Good evening and thanks for joining us for NBC 16 News at 11. I'm Alexis Thrower. Alan Matthews is off. Two of those suspects were in court today. It was a quick proceeding for each. Both entered a plea of not guilty to the nearly 30 charges they are facing. Kelly Azar from our sister station in Portland has more.
Two brothers, Cupertino and Benito Juarez Hernandez, as well as Cupertino's ex-wife, Diana Rodriguez, are now each charged with more than 22 counts of sex abuse, sodomy, and rape. Not only are the suspects related, according to police, but they are also related to their 5 victims, all of whom are under the age of 12.
Inside family relationships, there should be a sense of safety and security, and in this family, these victims, these children, were vulnerable and were taken advantage of and abused in a terrible way.
Washington County Sheriff's Deputy Brian Van Cleef tells me police were tipped off in April.
One of the victims came forward and the investigation progressed from there, and it revealed a tangled web of abuse involving 5 minors and 3 different adults.
That led to the arrest of Cupertino Juarez Hernandez, and then this week, deputies arrested his ex-wife, Diana Rodriguez. Today, both were in court. As for Benito Juarez Hernandez, he will be arraigned at a later date. He is currently serving time in the state prison for an abuse conviction. Investigators say they believe this case may affect more than just the 5 victims.
And they strongly believe there are other victims out there, whether they're members of this family in some way or people in the community. We just don't know that at this point.
Grammy Award-winning singer R. Kelly now faces 11 new sex-related charges. The Chicago Sun-Times reports prosecutors filed the new charges today. If convicted, he could face up to 30 years in prison. Court documents appear to show the new charges involve a single victim. Kelly already faces 10 counts of sexual abuse involving 4 women, 3 of whom were minors at the time of the alleged abuse. He pleaded not guilty to the original charges. His crisis manager released a statement today saying Kelly still maintains his innocence and denies all accusations against him. Now to an NBC News exclusive. The FBI has been hit with a lawsuit alleging a culture of harassment at its academy from 16 women who trained there. And tonight, several are speaking out about the mistreatment they say they suffered. To NBC's Stephanie Gosk.
Harassment and discrimination at the FBI Training Academy at Quantico, according to 10 women who spoke exclusively to NBC News.
They made me feel like I was worthless and disposable.
Insulted.
Angry.
Offended. At this day and age that's going on.
They filed a class action complaint against the Department of Justice.
How many of you believe there is a systemic problem of discrimination at the FBI and specifically the Academy? Everybody.
The training is rigorous. Most of the instructors are men.
Did you notice that you were being criticized for things that other male colleagues were doing and not getting criticized
Most definitely.
for? And you were kicked out.
A week before I was due to graduate.
Lauren Rose says she wrote then FBI Director James Comey. While she did not allege gender discrimination, she described a lack of fairness across the board at the Academy. Comey replied, she says, writing, "I believe I have thoughtful leaders at Training Division," adding, "My hope is that you will stare hard at the situation and what it teaches you."
They expressed a disinterest to figure out if it was going on.
The women also filed equal employment complaints with the federal government.
I had witnessed excessive discrimination against one of my female coworkers. So I contacted the unit chief, and she looked me point blank in the eyes and said, "You coming forward and speaking up will not go without consequence." And from there on out, I was targeted, I was marginalized, I was harassed consistently.
The FBI says it can't comment on litigation, but values gender diversity, writing in part, "The FBI is committed to fostering a work environment where all of our employees are valued and respected."
There are going to be some people who see this interview and they're going to say, well, these women couldn't cut it.
If it was currently based on merit, we wouldn't be filing a lawsuit.
They all say they still love the Bureau and hope speaking out now will help change it. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, Washington.
5 Eugene police officers have been injured in just 5 days while responding to calls for service. It's what Police Chief Chris Skinner is calling intolerable. The first incident happened Sunday night when police intervened in an assault on Avalon Street. Police say 3 officers were attacked and injured. Then, early this morning around 6 a.m., officers responded to car break-ins on the 2900 block of Timberline Drive. The suspect, 23-year-old Wesley Reynolds, fought officers and had to be subdued with a taser. 2 officers were injured and sent to the hospital. Chief Skinner says he's concerned by the number of officers hurt in such a short amount of time.
This may be a springboard for us for additional training, to be mindful of those things. It's certainly a wake-up call for all officers to know that at any moment's notice that an encounter can turn violent.
The suspects involved in both incidents were taken into custody. None of the officers or suspects had life-threatening injuries. On to a first look at weather. NBC 16's chief meteorologist Carmen Rose joins us now in the Weather Center. Now, Carmen, I know we've been experiencing a lot of 70s and sunny days. Can we expect a change in the temps anytime soon?
You know, we are going to get a little bit of a change, and that's going to be temperatures closer to that 80-degree mark and a few more 80s out there as we head into the start of your weekend. Right now, things are calm and they're mild. 60 degrees currently, so we are a little bit above average for where we should be. Clear for now, but we are going to notice a few more clouds start to build in overnight. Temperatures will start to drop another 5 to 10 degrees, so we will likely bottom out into those low 50s. By the time you head out the door, though, mid to upper 50s to get your day going with some more clouds starting to build in. Shouldn't be overcast, though, at least not here in Eugene. And then we'll see more sunshine coming through later in the afternoon with temps closer to 80 degrees by the end of your Friday. And a look at that weekend forecast. It is free fishing weekend, so you can crab, clam, or fish across the entire state of Oregon, and we have beautiful fishing weather for you into the 50s to start the mornings on Saturday and Sunday with upper 70s by the end of the day. I'll have more on that weekend forecast coming up. Alexis?
Perfect. Wonderful, wonderful forecast. I absolutely love it. And thank you so much, Carmen. And on to the Oregon House, which took up a bill today that aims to pay down the state's rising public pension cost. Senate Bill 1049A would redirect a portion of public employee contributions to an employee stability account. State Senator Floyd Przansky says failure to pass the measure would result in local government contribution rates to PERS to go up 35 cents per dollar. He writes the state would place at least $100 million into an employer incentive funds account if passed. Some lawmakers are still advocating for an additional $400 million into that account before the end of the session. Proceeds from sports betting would also go into the fund. Many say the bill would not tackle the PERS issue in full. Groups such as the Oregon Education Association oppose the bill, saying it would ultimately cut the teachers' retirement fund. Proposed budget cuts at the University of Oregon have students and graduate teaching fellows worried and angry. The Graduate Teaching Fellows Federation, also known as GTFF, gathered outside of Johnson Hall to pressure the university to rethink their plan. The GTFF is asking the university for a new contract that does not include any reductions to health care for graduate employees. They say they also stand in solidarity with resident undergraduate students after the university approved a near 4 to 10% tuition hike, depending on state funding.
That's a hard red line for our union. We've won that healthcare package over 40 years of struggle, and we're not going to let the university cut it.
The university says it supports free speech and will continue negotiating with the GTFF. The group is planning a rally at the university tomorrow at noon. A partial plastic straw ban in Oregon is now one step closer to becoming law. The Oregon House passed a bill banning restaurants and stores from automatically giving straws to customers with drinks. Senate Bill 90 does allow straws to be provided if customers ask for them and doesn't apply to hospitals or nursing homes. The bill passed 48 to 12 and now heads back to the Senate before heading to Governor Kate Brown's desk for her signature. Supporters emphasize the need to reduce plastic waste in Oregon, while opponents say the bill addresses a non-existent problem. This is the first of 3 plastic ban bills to be passed by both chambers. Construction is starting at a high-traffic exit in Roseburg. The Oregon Department of Transportation started work this week on the Interstate 5 Harvard interchange near exit 124. Drivers can expect nighttime closures on Harvard Avenue and Bellows Street, with some sidewalks closed during construction.
Realigning Bellows Street, moving it to the west about 15-20 feet, and that'll allow it to line up a little better with the Rams, and also we'll be able to add a left turn lane from Bellows onto Harvard.
ODOT plans to fully close Bellows Street and both southbound ramps for 2 weeks in late July. The nearly $2 million project will be completed this fall. Coming up next on NBC 16 News at 11, as measles cases continue to rise, could the United States lose its elimination status? Plus, as fire season ensues, do you have what it takes to become a firefighter? That and more after the break.
Smoky skies, scorching heat. It's become 16 News at 11.
The ongoing measles outbreak has hit a staggering new record. The CDC is reporting there are 971 confirmed cases of measles in the country so far in 2019. That surpasses the 1992 level, where there were 963 cases reported for the entire year. Health officials warn the U.S. may lose its measles elimination status if the outbreaks continue through the summer and fall. Most of the cases are in New York State, and the majority of the patients are those who have not been vaccinated. Washington State is lending new meaning to the old phrase pushing up daisies by passing a law that gives families an unconventional choice when it comes to burying their loved ones. NBC 16's Cassandra Gutierrez has the story.
Composting human bodies as an alternative to a traditional burial may become more common, at least in the state of Washington, where a new law has passed, allowing bodies to decompose in the ground as nutrients to fertilize the soil.
I just support more and more ways that we can interact with our environment that are conscious and self-supporting and sustaining, and if that includes being more natural in our burial practices, that's probably a good thing.
A way to celebrate the life of a loved one.
Because it also seems like it should be this big interruption in the normal flow of life that you want to celebrate excessively or mourn excessively or do something out of the ordinary with, or I don't know. I guess I'm on the fence, but morally, no problem with it.
If the human compost burial option is not for you, there are still traditional ways of burial.
Traditional burials are not as common as before. Cremation rates in the area have increased from 12 to 80% in recent years.
As long as something is not illegal or immoral, I'm here to counsel people on what's going to be the most beneficial for them.
Whatever it takes, even driving to Washington State, Musgrove Mortuaries is willing to do this.
Regardless of what the actual disposition of the body is, I think that the more important thing is to have a permanent place for the immediate family and for generations to come, have a place to come and do their grief work and honor and remember those that have gone on before them.
Reporting in Eugene, I'm Cassandra Gutierrez.
More firefighters are needed as fire season comes closer in Eugene and surrounding areas. NBC 16's Angelina Dixon tells us what the cost will be and what the training is like.
Zero is the cost for training to become a firefighter with Patrick Environmental Incorporated in Springfield. They are a small independent company designed to train and help fight wildfires.
Typically, you can come right into our office Tuesday through Thursday, 9 to 3, fill out an application, get a same-day interview.
From there, he says the training involves walking 3 miles with a 45-pound vest in 45 minutes or less. And then, he says, you're set up for the basic class if you get through it. Finally, a final exam after that. In recent years, Murphy says they have a full crew in the summer, but in the fall, many crew members who are young will go back to school, which could leave a much smaller crew in the fall when the last of the wildfires spark up. Murphy says it's a challenge for them, but they seem to sum up enough crew members to get by.
It's going to be a busy year, and like I say, if you're interested and you feel like you want to try this out, come down, fill out an application, we'll get you interviewed, and maybe get you out there working.
Reporting in Eugene, I'm Angelina Dixon.
If you're interested in a firefighter position with Patrick Environmental Incorporated, Tuesday through Thursday are the days to visit them for an application. And turning to weather now, NBC 16's Chief Meteorologist Carmen Rose is standing by for a look at what's coming up in your full forecast. Hey, Carmen.
Hey, Alexis. Well, we have a very pleasant weekend on tap. I'll tell you just how warm those temperatures are going to be for the first weekend of June coming up.
It's time for a new mattress, one with targeted support and with Chief Meteorologist Carmen Rose.
Good evening. We've been tracking a rather warm month. In fact, we started out warmer than how we're ending in the first 2 weeks of May at least. And then we finally started to see some rainfall in that third week. But still, we have about twice as many days with no rainfall as opposed to having rain. So we are going to end up a little bit below average, closer to 1/4 of an inch below where we should be for total monthly rainfalls for May. Temperatures right now, they are mild, 60 degrees for Eugene, 65 for Cottage Grove, 67 in Roseburg right now. Now the coast into those 50s here thanks to more of those clouds. Ultimately, we're being impacted by a high pressure system, so that ridge is what's really going to keep out that rainfall for this weekend. We are tracking this very weak cold front here associated with this low into the Gulf of Alaska. Now this front is going to track farther east and ultimately stall out on Saturday and then finally move through Sunday. But again, it's a weak one, so not really going to bring much of a difference in those temperatures. In fact, we're going to be on the warm side for Saturday and Sunday for the start of June. Forecast lows for us, we're going to dip another 5 to 10 degrees as we head overnight, bottoming out into those low 50s closer to 5 to 6 a.m. for Eugene, Coos Bay, as well as Roseburg. And our futurecast will show you more clouds starting to build on in. We could see a little bit more sunshine from Portland down through Eugene, overcast into Roseburg to start your Friday, as well as the coast. But then we'll gradually start to see some more sunshine toward our south into Douglas County and also along the coast. More sunshine consistently and longer throughout the day for Eugene, so temperatures will be closer to 80 degrees. That's going to be the same case into Roseburg, mid-60s for the coast. And any rain we see, just like today, is going to stay over the crest of the Cascades and maybe even farther east. Now, we did see a little bit more of that activity shift farther west for this afternoon. Not really expecting the same case for tomorrow. And Saturday morning, check this out. Nothing but clear skies to start the day, and then we're going to stay nice and sunny throughout the entire afternoon and evening. So free fishing weekend, Saturday and Sunday across Oregon. Beautiful weather for you. Your Friday forecast, it's going to be a warm one with plenty of sunshine coming through later in the day, closer to those low 80s for Roseburg as well as Eugene, mid 60s along the coast. The rest of your 7-day forecast, we're going to keep in the sunshine to end May and also start June. And then temperatures will be a little bit cooler. We're looking at upper 70s thanks to that very weak cold front finally moving through on Sunday. Maybe a few more clouds by Sunday morning due to that. And that's about the only change here. Very low to basically no rain chances. We do have them popping back up Thursday, Friday, but right now those are on the slim side. The coast, mid 60s for tomorrow, some clouds in the morning. Check out this weekend though, closer to 70 degrees. It's going to be beautiful along the coast. Also going to be a little bit breezy for tomorrow. So pollen going to be spreading around a little bit more. So we had very high grass pollen counts today. Will probably be pretty similar for tomorrow in Roseburg. Lots of sunshine, still dry, and probably going to see some more 80s and 70s the first week of June, though staying into those upper 70s.
Wow, and I can't believe we're already going into June.
I know.
And summertime is a few weeks away.
I know. I can't believe it. Officially 21st, meteorological June, or summer rather, June 1st. So
right.
It's already about to be summer for me.
Well, thank you so much, Carmen. And now we turn to Hayden Herrera with sports. I know we have some things in baseball that you want to tell us.
Yeah, playoff baseball is finally here. The defending national champions, Oregon State, set for their final weekend of home games. We'll hear from Oregon State's opponent, Cincinnati, and how they plan to get after the Beavers.
Pain thinks it can overpower you.
Team Sports Test is brought to you by Three Rivers Casino Resort.
Oregon State is one of only 4 schools in the country that has hosted NCAA baseball regionals each of the last 3 years. Thursday was a final practice day for the 4 teams in Corvallis. The Beavers will start regional play on Friday night against Cincinnati. The Bearcats are in uncharted waters. They haven't reached a regional since 1974. Cincy actually practiced Wednesday in Eugene at PK Park before their Thursday practice at Goss Stadium. UC head coach Scott Guggens is well aware of OSU's star catcher Adley Rutschman Oregon, but said loud and clear that he won't let the Pac-12 Player of the Year beat them.
He's a great player. He might get frustrated, but to me, we're gonna, be smart with him. I mean, that's an unbelievable bat, unbelievable player. So we're gonna be smart with him. And we've got a couple guys in our conference like that. Again, at the end of the weekend, they're probably upset with us, but we weren't gonna let them beat us.
It's a 7 p.m. first pitch from Goss. Watch the game on ESPNU. The season is over for the Ducks. Oregon now trying to find out who will take over the baseball program after George Horton's departure. Kendall Rogers of D1Baseball.com reporting that Nevada head coach T.J. Bruce is a strong candidate to vie for the job. Bruce has been the head coach of the Wolfpack the past 4 seasons and was a longtime UCLA assistant coach. With the college baseball postseason about to begin, it's hardly the time to think about college football. The season's still months away, but we now know the kickoff times and TV networks for several Ducks and Beavers games in 2019. For Oregon, after their season opener against Auburn in Arlington, Texas, the Ducks' first 2 home games will air in Pac-12 Network. A 4:30 kickoff against Nevada on September 7th and a 7:45 kickoff against Montana the following week. #Pac-12 After Dark. We also learned that Oregon's Friday night game against Colorado on October 11th is a 7 p.m. start on FS1. For the Beavers, they open the season at home against Oklahoma State Friday, August 30th. That's a 7:30 kick on FS1. Their next home game, September 14th against Cal Poly, 1:15 p.m. on Pac-12 Network. The only conference game etched in stone with a time and channel, the Washington game at home, another Friday game, November 8th on FS1. Let's head to the track. Diamond League action in Stockholm, Sweden. A pair of former Ducks running Thursday. In the women's 800 meters, Raven Rogers coming off a win in the 800 last week at a meet in the Caribbean. Near the front of the pack from the start of this race, but it's her training partner Ajay Wilson that takes the win. Rogers taking 4th with a time of 2:02:35. In the women's 200, Jenna Prandini off to a hot start in her outdoor season so far, but just not fast enough in Sweden. Dina Asher-Smith blowing past the competition. Prandini in 5th at 23:09. Finally tonight, game 1 of the NBA Finals. Oh, Canada. Drake trolling the Warriors. Steph Curry's dad Dell used to play for the Raptors. Aubrey repping the retro jersey. Former Duck Jordan Bell getting the start for the Dubs, but only had 2 points in 12 minutes. This game was all Toronto. We haven't seen Raptors go this hard since they were chasing Dr. Grant and Ian Malcolm on Isla Nublar. Kawhi Leonard had 23 points, but it was Pascal Siakam who stole the show. A career playoff high 32 points. No one in Canada is going to work tomorrow. Raptors take game 1, 118-109. That wasn't even the best competition of the night. The spelling bee.
The spelling bee.
They had 8 winners. They ran out of words.
We were watching it and we were so excited.
It was so awesome.
We were praying that they all won,
and they
you
did.
all won. So congratulations.
Yes, congrats.
And thank you so much, Hayden. And do you like coffee or Coke? Well,
both.
What about you like both? Well, what about coffee flavored Coke, Hayden? And we'll tell you more about that in less than 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Matthew with Ambassador Fire.
First time, but Coca-Cola is betting this time it'll be huge. The company is thinking about bringing coffee-flavored Coke back to the U.S. In 2006, Coca-Cola Black was launched and people didn't like it. The company stopped selling it in 2008. But a spokesperson says this time it will be different thanks to evolving trends and palates. Coca-Cola Plus Coffee is available in Australia, Spain, Thailand, Poland, and other countries and packs more caffeine than a regular Coke. The company hasn't committed to bringing the product to the United States, but it is optimistic.
I'm not.
I don't
Thumbs
really
down.
like coffee or Coke, but thank you for watching NBC 16 News at 11. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
If your new parents are expecting, come to the free Community Baby Shower.